Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back, by the way, to Esports Talk, and welcome back to a brand new year. I hope we all have a great 2020. I'll be here, just telling you guys the news as per usual, talking to a camera lens. If you guys want to watch, that's up to you. Here's to a great year. Now, speaking of what's not going to stop throughout this year, that's going to be Esports rebrands, one that's now about 2 weeks old. We talked about when it first happened, that being Evil Genius rebrand, which, by the way, was probably a bit better than most we have seen over the past year and a half. They're typically met with tons of backlash. You can expect from hardcore fans to be a bit upset when their logo and their words change on those team outfits and uniforms and the like. Now, with that being said, I think Evil Geniuses did a pretty swell job. There was more controversy and unanswered questions, though, around this move, which we'll talk about at the very end of the video. We touched on it when it first came out. Ever since then, though, their current CEO has kind of made note of some things, which I thought was very cool, brought to us by Cheddar Esports. I will link the full video down below for all of you guys. First of which, though, she talks about the one-day turnaround for at least one of the scenes they did enter. By the way, returning to their evil roots as they return to both CSGO and League of Legends with gigantic amounts of money being spent on both these rosters. It makes me a bit worried, but either way, you have to respect the move they did make away from Call of Duty into CSGO and back to League of Legends and the like. Now, with that, though, she actually did go on to state they had a one-day turnaround after insanely outbidding everyone, which I'll play a second clip for you guys by Nadeshot about the insane EG bids to steal this NRG roster, which, by the way, they bought that within 24 hours they had to get them to New York. ESL New York had to get them outfitted and ready to go, and by the way, they ended up winning the event itself. On top of that, she talks about their return to their evil roots with their entrance back to the LCS. Here's what she had to say.
That was very, very exciting. The NRG acquisition was a mad dash that we, as you mentioned, we had one day notice to then get them in jerseys, get them meeting our team, our gaming staff, and setting them up for success for a great competition in New York, which was, I'm biased, I'm from New York, so it was great to have that hometown win, yes. And so we were really pumped. Getting back into Counter-Strike was really important. Phil, our chief gaming officer, myself, really were cognizant, especially with our departure from Call of Duty, getting into a strong, sticky first-person shooter that EG is also famous for was really exciting to enter with such a bang.
EG caused quite a stir with its logo redesign. What was the thinking behind that? Is it part of like a full rebrand?
I think you hit the nail on the head. With our announced word mark, we definitely, I think the shock factor of such a big change for a 20-year crest moving into our initial kickoff into a new brand and a new ethos, leaning into living evil, was glaring but needed. Evil Geniuses and defining what it means to be an Evil Geniuses fan, a player, part of our evil community is important because we've always been bold, we've always been saucy, and we've always been questioned for what we do and why we do it, and making sure we continue to support that evil ethos, that individuality, that ability to really make a claim and be able to back it up is important to us. So I would say we have a lot more coming in terms of the overarching brand relaunch, I will call it, as well as tying it into our return to our evil roots with our LCS announcement as well. The timing is quite serendipitous, and we're excited to really have now a platform to roll out the full new, what does it mean to be Evil Geniuses. So thank you, fans and community, for bearing with us, even though it was, I'm sure, a little surprising and a big change. But as you see with our new hashtag, our new colors, and more crests to come.
And like I said before, it only makes me think about Nadeshot. Nadeshot is one of the most honest and upfront CEOs, especially when you get anyone out there on stream. He just sat down to his audience and said, hey guys, Evil Geniuses, teams and like, and when it comes to CSGO, this insane buyouts, insane bids that they could not compete with, and that the person they were competing with, that would be Evil Geniuses, who eventually win that bid for the NRG roster. Apparently, they just were willing to pay more than anyone else financially could.
And it's a hard conversation that you have to have with players. Like, hey, I really value you as a contributor and player for our team, but the money that you want us to pay you is unrealistic. Like, but that's the thing. A lot of these other teams will pay it. Especially for teams that are like Evil Geniuses is a great example. They wanted to come into CSGO. They were a new team. They got a lot of funding. We're gonna outbid everybody, man. We're gonna pay premium. We're gonna pay the highest price, and we're gonna sign one of the best CSGO teams in the world. They played a huge buyout. They're paying these insane amounts of monthly salaries to these players. They're gonna run out of money. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They're not gonna run out of money. They're just spending a lot of money. They got a lot of money.
And all of this is nice. It's great. You know, Evil Geniuses, again, I'll say it time and time again, of all the esports rebrands I've seen over the past, I would say my time entering the scene, there was not that much backlash compared to like Dignitas. You know, theirs was pretty bad. NRG, I think they did a pretty okay job as well. You expect the backlash now. EG did a fine job, especially now it's been reclarified. Their crest is not going away. It's been doubled down by their CEO as well as their CGO. That crest is not going anywhere. So with that being said, they're going to change the crest to 2 words, but also keep the crest for other things. There's really nothing to be upset about, right? They're going to redefine it. They're going to redo it a little bit. It is coming back, but still leaves many questions unanswered around the outburst of their former CEO. The one you just saw is their current one. One of their former ones being Alex Garfield, who had a bit of an instance when this was first announced. Their revamp was actually announced. He had some backlash and some bad words to say about it ever since he sold his ownership inside the company itself. He also made sure to mention, though, a couple stories that were swept under the rug and never talked about. Now, the current CGO, that's going to be Philip Aram, he actually responded and quote tweeted this as well, saying he hopes that in the next few years or sometime soon, I would assume as well, that he hopes these stories can actually come out and shed some light on exactly what happened with Alex Garfield, the former CEO of Evil Geniuses. Ever since then, Alex Garfield has said nothing on Twitter, but it was a very large outburst, right? A former CEO of the company who just rebranded came out and said, you know, his disgust for that rebrand, also announces his disgust for when he sold his ownership and some stories that were never really told about. And all of a sudden, we have the current CEO, really not mentioning too much about it, but the current CGO, he says, we hope your stories are told sometime soon, which left us all wondering what the heck happened to the former CEO of Evil Geniuses, that being Alex Garfield. What is not being told? I will keep you guys posted when that story is eventually told. As of right now we know Evil Geniuses is fully dedicated to at least the next year in esports when it comes to League of Legends and CSGO. In a rebrand, they're doing a lot of things great. They're spending lots of money to do those great things, and hopefully it does work out. What also hopefully works out is these stories coming to fruition, and I will be here to cover them for all of you. Until next time, guys, breaking down esports gaming news here every single day, all year long. Happy 2020. Let's get that ball rolling.